Imagine a creature without a heart, malicious, ungrateful, and a whole bunch of other things. Now multiply that by 2. That's the peacock. But did he really become hated by his own parents? And why couldn't he become what he wanted? In this video, you'll get a detailed look at the full story of one of DreamWorks' greatest villains, Lord Shen. The year of the peacock starts now. Let's dive in. As we know, Lord Shen caused a lot of trouble for China, the Furious Five, and Po. Let's start the story in ancient China, where peacocks were adored by the people, as mentioned at the beginning of the second Kung Fu Panda film. Shen's parents ruled Gongmen City and brought joy, harmony, and prosperity to everyone. They invented fireworks. Wow, that was amazing. Everyone loved it. But Lord Shen realized that fireworks could be used for evil, for destruction. His parents got worried and consulted a seer to find out their son's future. She told them that if he continued down the wrong path, he would end up being defeated by a black and white warrior. It was a panda, although it could have been a zebra too, but there were none in China, so she said it would be a black and white warrior. Shen overheard the conversation and decided to change his destiny. He gathered his army of wolves and attacked a village full of pandas to eliminate any chance of being defeated by one of them and to prove the seer wrong. But this act of killing innocent people and harming that village only confirmed that he had a wicked heart and sealed his fate. He invaded the village where Po lived with his parents, and in desperation, Po's mother hid him in a vegetable crate to keep him safe. After that, Lord Shen went home all happy and told his parents he had killed the pandas, and he was super excited. However, his parents were deeply upset, hurt, and frightened by their own son. This isn't how we raised you. So, Shen's parents, who ruled the city, expelled their own son. Wow, Shen didn't see that coming. Being rejected and expelled from an entire city by his own parents was probably one of the worst things that could happen to him. With Shen's expulsion, the throne that was supposed to be his eventually went to Master Rhino and the Kung Fu Council. He was enraged and declared that he would seek revenge and that one day all of China would bow at his feet. Well, at his paws. He's a psychopath, but it wasn't due to a lack of love and affection. Going back to Shen's childhood, he was deeply loved by his parents. Even the seer later confirms this to him. He always had everything. He was the son of the rulers of the city where he lived and was trained to eventually take the throne. But from a young age, he had a different nature from his parents, with malice in his heart and growing greed. Returning to Shen's quest for revenge, he was creating a cannon that used melted metals as its source. But when the metals ran out, he sent his wolves to the villages to fetch more. Shen then decided he was ready to return to his former home, the place from which he had been expelled by his parents. He challenged Master Rhino, Master Storming Ox, and Croc. They fought, and soon after, Shen killed Master Rhino with his cannon, imprisoned the other two, and took over the kingdom. This was yet another proof of his lack of compassion. The man he killed was protecting a place his parents had protected and cared for. Shen didn't care. When he saw his father's throne, he pretended to be happy, saying he used to play there as a child. But then he threw the throne out the window and placed his cannon in its place. He kept nagging the gorillas to put it exactly where he wanted, being very perfectionistic, claiming that he had planned this for 30 long years. Soon after, he consulted the seer again about his future, and she told him that nothing had changed. Then, Chief Wolf arrived, reporting that he had seen a panda, and Shen was terrified, asking for the panda to be brought to the kingdom. Lord Shen blames his parents, as if his transformation into a villain was their fault. That's just an excuse. He could have easily humbled himself and listened to his parents' teachings. Well, Po and the Furious Five arrived, and a battle ensued. Po was almost defeating Shen, but then remembered the night Shen attacked his village. The peacock fled the palace and attacked with other cannons. He even ordered the destruction of Po and the others, but they were in his palace, which had once been his parents'. Shen didn't care. He threw his family's legacy to the ground just to prove that he would kill the one destined to defeat him. Since we've been talking a lot about Lord Shen's parents, it's worth mentioning that they died of grief and sadness shortly after expelling Shen. This is mentioned by the seer in the film. Imagine their disappointment seeing their own son become a malicious, maniacal, and murderous person. Shen could have become a great leader, eventually taking his father's throne and ruling the city. He had everything in his hands. When the seer told his parents nothing was lost, she meant that if he changed his ways and chose to follow his father's example, becoming a good peacock and continuing to bring peace and harmony to the people, none of this would have happened. He wouldn't have been defeated, and his parents wouldn't have died of grief. Instead, he committed a crime and went on to do many things to try to take the throne. He was already the next successor. It would have been easier to stay quiet and do the right thing, but he was very stubborn. Moreover, Lord Shen is a liar. He told Pa that his parents abandoned him because they never loved him, but we know this isn't true. Later, they have that battle in the canal and then at sea. Shen's terrified and incredulous expressions are remarkable. He can't believe Po is still alive and still trying to defeat him. Another aspect of Lord Shen's character is his disregard even for his own allies, the wolves, who have always been by his side. This is clear in two instances. First, when he orders Chief Wolf to blow up the boats, even with his men on them. And second, when Chief Wolf refuses to kill his own team and Shen kills them. When Shen is almost defeated by Po, who finds his inner peace and throws the cannonballs back at them, Shen is again outraged, this time unable to understand how Po found inner peace despite having everything taken from him. Shen is unhappy, bitter, and malicious, and he wanted Po to be the same. After their final battle, Lord Shen dies. He even closes his eyes, as if finally accepting defeat by the panda, as the seer had foretold years earlier. He is then crushed by his own cannon, which falls on him and explodes. This peacock caused so much trouble and never learned anything good or useful in his life, ending up like this. But then we have Kung Fu Panda 4, where Shen returns from the spirit realm. It doesn't make sense for him to be there because he's not a master. Anyway, he's summoned from the spirit realm by the chameleon, defeated in less than a second, has his Kung Fu stolen, and is imprisoned. He doesn't have a single line in the entire film. In the end, he bows to Po and returns to the spirit realm peacefully. I won't dwell on this because it makes me mad. If you want to know what I thought about this pathetic return of the three villains, click here to watch that video. And speaking of villains, did you know that Kai and Tai Lung have faced each other? In this video, I'll tell you how that battle went and who won. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next Cine Lovers.